what appealed to you when you said yes for doing Memory, which is a fascinating story about an assassin who's losing his memory bank here?
Marbles.
Yeah, yes, that's one way to put it as well. Yeah.
Well, that's exactly it. I mean, it's a genre that we all know very well. You know, an assassin, a hitman out to get bad guys or what have you. But this man who's legendary within his profession is suffering from early onset Alzheimer's. And so there's a kind of a race against the clock because he knows he's facing the end of his days. And he and the FBI uncover a child prostitution, sex trafficking ring. And for him, that's a red line you never cross. And so he sets about in his own way to find out who's the leader, who's really in charge of all this, and it leads to people in high positions in El Paso, Texas, and all the time he's carrying out his own personal form of justice and letting the FBI know they're dragging their heels, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of essentially it. But he knows, you know, he's done some bad, nasty things throughout his professional life, and he, you know, as I say, he's facing the end of his days. He wants to make a huge wrong right,
and
by way of a redemption, I guess. You know.
Sure. And so you read a script like this, and you get a sense of how you're going to play it. How does something like that work for you, Liam Neeson?
It's a general, you know. It's not that I know how to play it. It's certainly with this particular script, it touched just something in me. I mean, we all know. Let's face it, Chris. If not in our immediate family, in our family's friends, we all know people who are suffering from dementia, Alzheimer's. It's a horrible, horrible affliction. I have a personal friend back home in Ireland who's going through the early stages of dementia, and it's sad. He still recognizes me just about, but we're sitting in his living room and he doesn't recognize his own living room, and it's traumatic. And I must say, guiltily, I must say, the actor part of my brain is really observing him, watching how he lifts a cup of coffee or how he looks around the room and stuff. And I think I want to steal a couple of his little mannerisms and try and put them in this film, you know, so that I get it right and that I don't overact, you know, people who are suffering from Alzheimer's or dementia. You know, I didn't want to do definitely not a big showboat thing of all the research I've done, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I worked very closely with Martin Campbell, who's our director, and a wonderful action director he is. So I would present him with things I had noticed from documentary films I'd watched on Alzheimer's and dementia, some books I'd read, and say, look, Martin, I want to be able to introduce this physical characteristic. Would you keep your eye on it, make sure I don't go overboard? And that's what we did throughout the film. You know, he would sometimes say, look, Liam, I see what you're doing there, but just pull that back by 50% or do a little bit more of this, you know, these physical characteristics. I just wanted to get it right and do it right and pay some kind of a homage to my friend and also to the people who are suffering this horrible affliction. You know.
Memory is in theaters next week on Friday, April 29th. I have Liam Neeson, who, along with Guy Pearce, Monica Bellucci, and more, starring in Memory right here on The Rich Eisen Show. Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.